Hello and welcome to Nikolai's Genetics Lessons. Looking at this pedigree, would you be able to tell the mode of inheritance of genetic disorder? Those of you who can recognize this mode of inheritance, I recommend you to watch this video to the end because I guarantee you that you're going to learn something new today. So let's take a look. We see here that this male affected, his wife is not shown here, but of course he should have a wife, so in all his children, we do not see this disease, and in the following generation, we also do not see this disease. So he doesn't transmit to any of his descendants. But take a look what's happening here. This female is a sister of this male, so the sister and brother, both of them are affected. So she marries an affected male, and all her children have this genetic disorder. But only daughters transmit to their children. And for example, her son doesn't transmit it further to his progeny. This pattern of inheritance is very peculiar and can be attributed to mitochondrial disorders. Mitochondria is said to be energy plants of our cells, and mutations in mitochondrial DNA would lead to serious metabolic problems. Now is the most interesting part, which explains why we get mitochondrial disorders from mother side and not from the father side. So you see here egg cell and sperm. On this picture you see a structure of the single spermatozoon, and here in the midpiece we can find mitochondria, about from 50 to 75 mitochondria. But how many mitochondria we can find in a single egg cell? Take a look at this picture, and here's information. In humans, the mature egg cell or oocyte contains the highest number of mitochondria among human cells, ranging from 100,000 to 600,000 mitochondria per cell. But each mitochondrion contains only one copy of the mitochondrial DNA. Now take a breath and compare just 50 mitochondria in spermatozoon and from 100 to 600,000 mitochondria in egg cell. The following information also might blow your mind, because from the textbooks you probably cannot correctly apprehend the size of the egg cell and spermatozoon. Take a look. In most living animals, egg cells are vastly larger than sperm cells. In humans, for example, a single egg is 10 million times the volume of the sperm. One more time, a single egg cell 10 million times the volume of the sperm cell. Probably most of you even cannot imagine such difference because most of the pictures in the textbooks are drawn out of the scale, just for convenience of the textbook. Now I also want to break one of the dogmas in textbooks, which tells you that this part, this midpiece of the spermatozoon, doesn't penetrate egg cell and actually would stay outside and would be disintegrated outside of the egg cell. This information is not true and came from the early scientists' research, which shows them that they cannot find paternally inherited mitochondria in the zygote, fertilized egg cell. But they cannot find paternally inherited mitochondria or mitochondrial DNA because they used some technique which is called RFLP, or restriction fragment length polymorphism, and this technique is not as sophisticated as modern technique of the PCR, and just they were unable to detect paternally inherited mitochondrial DNA. But now we know that they were unable to find paternally inherited mitochondria because of the ratio of one paternally inherited mitochondria to 2,000, which is present in an egg cell, and top numbers can be 1 to 12,000. As you see, per one mitochondria inherited from the father side, we can get 12,000 which are present in the egg, or we also say maternally inherited. So when textbooks say that these mitochondrial disorders would be inherited only from the mother side by all progeny, this is not quite so. For example, this male also transmits this mitochondrial disorder to his progeny, but his defective mitochondria would be outnumbered by 1 to 12,000 by normal mitochondria from his wife to his children. So these children would have this ratio of defective to normal mitochondria, and they would show normal phenotype. So this is your mid part does penetrate egg cell. Sometimes we even can find the whole spermatozoon. We even can detect it inside the egg cell, up to 8 divisions of the egg cell. But scientists are still not sure about the fate of this paternally inherited mitochondria, whether we can find in the other tissues or it would be outnumbered by the maternally inherited mitochondria and would be completely lost in the tissues due to multiple cycles of the cell division. I hope you have learned something new today, and now you would be able to recognize this pattern. And I hope you have learned today something beyond what textbooks teach you. And this is all for today. Subscribe and see you in the next video. Goodbye.